Do your kids like asking the Google app questions? Here's how to help them prepare to work there one day. Hi, I'm Chad Bullock, the founder of Future Proof Kids and the Ready Aim Parent Podcast, where we help you teach kids the skills that really matter in business and life. Not too long ago, I was in a meeting where this one lady stood out like a sore thumb. She had the worst interpersonal skills I've seen in a while. The group was just simply whiteboarding some ideas on the whiteboard. She pranced into the room, looked up at the board, and just started asking all these questions in a very derogatory way. Now, I simply watched and observed from the other side of the room to see how all of it played out. And it was clear from the facial expressions in the room, the slight glances, from each other, from the other people, that they had no interest in talking to her, working with her, or being anywhere around her. It was a look of, who does she think she is anyway? Well, sadly, even if her questions were really good ones, nobody was listening. Today, I want to talk about this one skill called emotional intelligence that can accelerate your kid's career or stop it cold, just like it will that person I just described. Emotional intelligence is actually something companies are looking for, even companies like Google. Did you know that Google now realizes they were wrong in who they hired? Wrong in their hiring criteria for years? They used to pride themselves on hiring people with the highest GPAs, SAT scores, and that were from the most elite schools. They now realize that was wrong. You can hear more about it by watching our other video, How Kids Can Land a High-Paying Job. I'll put the link in the description and on the screen. But it was wrong because it didn't equal success for them. But Google didn't stop there. They took it a step further. They wanted to understand what made the perfect team. What was it about the people? Because if they could figure that out, then that's the kind of people they'd hire from now on. So they did some experiments. The researchers put groups together. Some were all high-level executives, and other groups were co-workers who were also friends outside of work, and others only knew each other from being in meetings together. So a lot of different groups, they had this broad arrangement of teams, and here's what they learned. They found out it wasn't the people labeled the smartest or the highest in rank that made the best teams. It actually had nothing to do with IQ or job title. It came down to two things. First, if the group of people allowed each other to talk an equal amount, meaning each person was able to give their idea without interruption and say that idea completely to their satisfaction, that was a key factor. The second criteria for the perfect team was that each member had a high social sensitivity. In other words, they were able to detect when someone felt unheard or was upset. Google found out that the people with the highest IQ did not get the best results as the ones with the higher EI or emotional intelligence skills. In other words, it was the quote-unquote average people who had softer skills like listening, empathy, that could detect tone of voice and expressions, and those other nonverbal cues. Makes sense, doesn't it? Those people shared more with the group and they spoke on a personal level to each other. They came closer together. They wanted to work together. Wouldn't you rather be on a team like that one, as opposed to a group of people who talk louder over one another just to be heard and seen as the smartest? Well, there are studies that show emotional incompetence are often skills learned early in life. These become automatic skills set in place as a normal part of living. And kids' experiences shape their brain to react that way. As we get older, our brains tend to resist change, and we have a sort of built-in reaction or emotional habits that are really hard to break. And that's why it's so critical we start teaching our kids emotional intelligence skills at an early age, and we practice this skill with them. Children are still forming their brain map, and we can take their brain map in a very positive direction with higher emotional skills. So here are a few ways you can foster these skills in your kids. Number one, start by encouraging your kids to listen more and ask questions. If your child is the one who's always thinking his or her idea is the best one, hands down, then talk to them about giving their siblings a chance to speak about their ideas, to listen to them and ask questions. And when friends come over and they play together, do they, argue because everyone thinks their idea on what to play next is the best? We'll coach them to remain silent this time while the others are making their case for the next activity. And make it a challenge to see if they can build on their friend's idea or think of a way to combine ideas so everybody is happy. Number two, watch TV with the sound off. Give your kids practice watching facial skills and body language. See if they can guess how someone feels just from watching that silent screen. And when they get tired of it, just for the fun of it, start making up words for each character and saying them out loud. You'll have a really good time, some good laughs as a family, all while you're teaching your kids emotional intelligence. You have the power to change your kids' destiny so they aren't victims of a failing education system. You have the power to teach them the skills that companies like Google and others are looking for in their new employees. Teach them these things and you'll be raising a future-proof kid. Did you like this episode? If you did, head on over to futureproofkids.com. We have a free video on 8 skills that will future-proof your kids. And soon after, we'll be inviting you to a free 4-part training on future-proofing your kids. Come on over and join other parents already deciding to parent with purpose every day. Until next time, keep future-proofing your kids.